Hello, this is Mordred Viking, and as I promised, I was going to start doing some random gameplay sessions, and that is precisely what I'm going to do now. Today I wanted to play some Pillars of Eternity. This is a game that I got quite far in before. I have played it previously for like 50 hours or something like that, but I never actually finished it. And there have been several expansions and things since I last played it, so I thought, you know what, now's a good time to try again. So that is what we are going to do. I don't yet know what I'm going to play as. I'm just setting everything up first of all, and then we'll jump in. Like that. You here. So yeah, when I played last, I played as a paladin, I believe it was. Haven't quite decided what I'm going to play as this time around. Let's jump in and have a look. We'll go on normal. And I'll sort out the picture of me in the corner. I don't know exactly where I want to have it placed while I'm playing this. I'll find a spot. I haven't loaded the game up or anything yet, so I kind of want it to be out of the way, so it's not obscuring any of the interface.
Five wagons grope blindly for the path on a starless night, their master glancing ever upward to the skies for assurance that he is on the right course. A dim lantern his only protection against the encroaching darkness. But the skies bring no comfort, shining no light, betraying no hint of what they know. The caravan carries travelers bound for the frontier hamlet of Gilded Vale, you among them, where a local lord has offered land and wealth to settlers from abroad looking for a fresh start. You have taken suddenly ill, sweating and shivering, and one of the other travelers signals for the caravan master to stop on your behalf. He pulls up just in time to avoid plowing into the trunk of a fallen tree that bars the way ahead. You will go no further tonight.
Alright, so this is the character creation. It's a system very similar to Dungeons & Dragons and games of that ilk. You basically choose gender, race, class, and then a few more details like culture as well. It kind of functions like a subclass. Let's reduce my size a little bit. Whoops, I just made myself disappear. That is not what I intended to do. Oh, and I'm facing the other way. Great. I'll leave myself in... No, I don't know where to put myself. We'll try here. And if that's in the way, then we can always shift me. Whoops, that's still wrong. Oh, this is going well. There we go. Right, let's see how this goes. I'm going to play as a male. I'm probably going to be a human. Resolve affects a character's internal drive, determination, fearlessness, and the emotional intensity they can project to others. Useful for mental intimidation, leadership, and convincing performances. In combat, it helps characters maintain concentration and contributes to will and deflection. Might is basically strength. Although it's magical strength as well as physical strength, so it's kind of an interesting one. The Ormoa are like a saily species. Not truly aquatic, they have an affinity for water. Dwarves are dwarves. Oops. Elves are elves. Orlan are kind of a mix between halflings and satyr. And then godlike are like the Aasimar. Different types of godlike have different abilities. I think I'm going to go human. And then within human you have 3 sub-races. So in fact we'll go through them all. So Orma have the coastal. You have the towering physique. They gain bonuses to defend against prone and stun. While the island Orma, all island Orma gain an additional weapon set. Dwarves. Mountain dwarves. Mountain dwarves have a bonus to defense against poison and disease, while boreal dwarves gain plus 15 accuracy against any creature of the wilder or primordial types. Elves. Wood elf, distant advantage against any enemy that is more than 4 meters away. Wood elves gain bonuses to accuracy, deflection, and reflex. And elemental endurance. All pale elves have increased burn and freeze damage reductions. It's kind of cool. Orlan. Minor threat. When attacking any target that is also being targeted by a teammate, Hearth Orlands convert some of their hits into crits. And Defiant Resolve. After being subjected to a will attack, Wild Orlands temporarily gain a bonus to all defenses. Interesting. And Godlike. Death Godlike. When Death Godlike attack an enemy with 25% or less endurance, their damage is increased. Now this game has hit points and it has endurance. They kind of play off of each other. Hey Tuna. And hit points is basically your total health. And the number of hit points you have is your maximum endurance. Now as you're fighting battles you take endurance damage. And for every 10% endurance that you lose or something you lose a hit point. So it kind of ticks down like that. Endurance is what is healed by healing spells. While hit points can only, I think, be regained when you're resting. I think that's how it works. Fire Godlike Battle Forge when reduced below 50% endurance. Fire Godlike glow like metal in a forge, getting damage reduction and doing a small amount of fire damage to any creature who hits them in melee. That's pretty nice. Moon Godlike. Every encounter when reduced below 75, 50 and 25% endurance. Moon Godlike generate waves of healing moonlight that restore endurance to them and their allies. Oh, that's kind of cool as well. They make really good clerics. Wellspring of Life grants a bonus to might, constitution, and dexterity when endurance is below 50%. So all of the godlike are pretty hardy. What about the humans? The Meadow Folk. Once per encounter, 5 seconds after being reduced below 50% endurance, folk temporarily gain bonuses to accuracy and damage. Looks like they all have the same, they just have different descriptions. So the Meadow Folk, the most common humans in Deerwood, the Meadow Folk, or Tirthan. Yeah, some of the names in this are hard, they're Celtic. Many of them are Celtic in origin, it's kind of difficult. Have lived in that area for almost 2,000 years. Meadow folk traditionally live at the edges of elven forests, working the open plains, hence their name. Most humans in the Deerwood are Tirtan. Ocean folk, the Kalbandra, originated near the equator on the other side of the globe and are currently the most widespread human group in that region. But they have also migrated to the far reaches of the world. Ocean folk are the dominant culture in the Vailian republics and are also common in the Deerwood. And the Savannah folk, the Natlan, come originally from just south of the equator, with the exception of some groups have migrated north, have remained in the same location for almost 10,000 years. The name Natlan literally means original. While quite common in Raid Ceres, Savannah folk are not usually seen in the Deerwood and the Vailian republics. I think we're going to go Meadow folk because this is all based in the Deerwood. Right, class. Now, last time I played as the Paladin, and I wanted to play something like quite defensive, had some self-healing abilities, that type of thing. And Paladin was more aggressive. They're built to do damage rather than to take damage. Fighters, on the other hand, are more like just pure combat brawler types. So I might play as a fighter this time. Although my favourite character in the entire game, Edda, is also a fighter. I might actually play a dwarf then. Bonus against poison disease. 15 accuracy against wilder or primordials. Mountain dwarves, the Aptapo, originated on the continent to the east of Deerwood and have spread through the area several times. Unlike their similarly diminutive Orlands, who are frequently subjugated, the Aptapo have always directly fought back threats posed by larger kith and opted to fortify their residences rather than move on. Mountain dwarves are common in the Vailian republics, but not seen as often in the Deerwood and Raidceris. Hale and hearty. Mountain dwarves have bonus to defense against poison and disease. I don't know, this is actually a fairly tough choice. So the classes are Barbarian, which is basically all out damage. When Barbarians hit with melee attacks, they automatically take reduced damage attacks at all other enemies within shorter distance of the target. Oh, they automatically make reduced damage attacks, so all of their attacks are area of effect. Paladins, Faith and Conviction. Paladins have an inherent bonus to all of their defenses. Over the course of the game, the value of this bonus may shift based on the reputation the Paladin gains relative to the behaviours that are preferred by his or her order. So you do have an order, and depending on how you interact with others during conversation, the reputation like that changes. Chanter is basically a bard. Phrases and chancel. Chanters can continuously speak chants made up of magical phrases. Phrases produce passive effects and help build a chanter's power until they use an invocation. Invocations. Powerful magical effects that chanters can create after they've spoken a required number of phrases through their chants. And the chants is actually a pretty cool system. Like, you can chop up bits of spells, essentially, and then put them into a chant, and as you go through the flow of that chant, the effects of those spells kick off. It's actually a pretty cool system. Then the invocation is basically the climax of the song and just kind of manifests as some crazy power. Priests are devotees of Eora's deities and practitioners of religious magic. While all priests dedicate themselves to specific gods, priests' power is actually derived from their personal beliefs. In contrast to most paladins, priests tend to focus on philosophy, teaching, and the relationship of religious organizations with common folk. The reception of priests of any kind, blah 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 blah. Holy Radiance generates a modest amount of endurance for allies around the priest. Enemy vessels caught in the area take burn damage and may be frightened. Over the course of the game, the power of this ability may shift based on your reputations. And you have divine spells, ciphers. Another quite interesting character type. Ciphers get more powerful the more damage they have done to someone with physical attack. So you start them out with daggers or a bow or something. Then as they deal damage, they become more powerful themselves, and that's when their magic is unleashed. And it's all kind of psychic, mental type damage. Rangers, Animal Companion, they're your regular shooty types. Druids, natural spellcasters, rogues, lots of damage through their sneak attacks. They're also really useful for finding traps and the like. Fighters are just damage absorbing. Wizards, arcane damage, and then monks punching stuff really hard. As kind of an abbreviated description of what each race does. I still don't know what I want to play as. Because part of the problem is I know what some of the companions are like, and I kind of know which companions I like. So, for example, there's a pretty decent wizard. He's not that good. It's kind of annoying. There's an amazing druid. Kind of. So which characters do I really like? I really like the chanter, so we're not going to play a chanter. And I really like the fighter. So you do kind of want two frontline people, and there is a paladin you can get who I didn't actually adventure with before, because I myself was a paladin. It kind of seemed pointless. I might actually play as a wizard. I do like me some magic. Make stuff explode! I'm going to be a human wizard. Arcane Assault, mild range attack that hits a small area for raw damage, can leave targets dazed. Yeah, I'm going to be a wizard. Mage Priest, that's what I used to play in Baldur's Gate. Next. Right, so these are the spells that I start with. Now, they've probably added a number of spells in the 2 expansions, so I have not played the expansions at all. That's the White Marches. So it's actually kind of funny how this has worked out. So the original Pillars of Eternity is basically Baldur's Gate 3. it isn't because it's not in the same world or anything like that, but thematically it's very similar to Baldur's Gate. And then they came out with the White Marches Part 1, White Marches Part 2, which is basically Icewind Dale. It's more combat heavy, there's slightly less roleplay, lore-y type stuff. So yeah, there's a lot of fighting and smashing and stuff like that. So I haven't got to any of that yet, so I can't really comment beyond what I've just said. Dazzling Lights. How many of these do I get? I get 4. What do they do? Overwhelms anyone in the area of effect with a brilliant and bewildering pyrotechnic display, decreasing their will and leaving them dazed. AoE 12-second daze. Range of 10 meters, area of effect 1.25 meters. Chill fog. Cause a blindingly white icy fog into existence, inflicting blindness and freeze damage over time to any in the area of effect. Lasts for 15 seconds. 12 to 19 freeze damage. The Parasitic Staff. Create a glowing quarterstaff of pure energy for the wizard to wield, granting a bonus chance to hit and giving the wizard endurance with each successful strike. Wizards, they're supposed to stand back. Eldritch Aim grants the caster otherworldly sight, resulting in preternatal accuracy for a short period. Now, do you need accuracy to land spells? I'm not sure you do. Fan of Flames. This is a spell I did like. Creates a cone of fire in front of the caster, much like Burning Hands, causing a burn effect for anyone in the area of effect. Fleet Feet. +3 move speed, +20 defense when disengaging for 30 seconds. Powers the target with an unnatural speed, raising their movement rate. That is a spell that I will most likely want to equip. Ghost Blades calls a field of unearthly blades into existence, inflicting immediate pierce damage and a hobbled affliction on targets in the area of effect. Jolting Touch. A bolt of electricity jumps from the caster's fingers into the nearest enemy and then to the next nearest, causing decreasing amounts of shock damage. 21 to 36, that's quite a lot. Accuracy is a part of almost every attack. It influences how likely the attack is to affect a target. Accuracy is defined primarily by a character's class and level, but is also influenced by perception, talents, and other active effects such as spells or items. When an attack is made, the accuracy is compared to the appropriate defense. Any ability or talent that does not use a weapon as part of the attack gains a small accuracy bonus based on the level of the character. So do spells use accuracy then? Because if so, then I can see a definite reason to have Eldritch Aim. Kalakoth's Sunless Grasp. The caster's hands become so cold to freeze what they touch. Does freeze damage to a target and reduces its accuracy. Minoletter's Minor Missiles. Magic Missile. Magic Missile. Magic Missile. Summons 3 spell missiles that batter the target, inflicting crush or corrode damage. Accuracy +10 versus deflection. So yes, they do in fact use accuracy. Slicken counts ground in a slick oil-like substance, inflicting knockdown on anyone in the area of effect. Spirit Shield. +3 damage reduction, +30 concentration. Thrust of Tattered Veils. A quick strike of crushing force, delivering little damage but having a high chance to disrupt enemy spellcasters. Okay. And Wizard's Double. Creates a duplicate of the caster to distract enemies, granting the caster a high deflection bonus until he or she is hit or crit. +40 deflection until hit or critically hit. So it's basically a free hit against you. So I think I'm kind of aiming towards Fan of Flames, Eldritch Aim, Fleet Feet. Do I want Fleet Feet? I probably won't take Fleet Feet. And Minoletter's Minor Missiles. I'm not going to take Eldritch Aim. I'm going to take Fleet Feet. And which is better? That's damage reduction and concentration for 45 seconds. Or 1 hit for deflection. I kind of dislike that it only defends you for 1 hit. So I'm somewhat tempted by Spirit Shield. Gives you damage reduction, which just reduces everything. Yeah, I like that. Right, attributes. My main attributes are might and intellect. Might represents a character's physical and spiritual strength, brute force, as well as their ability to channel powerful magic. During interactions, it can be useful for intimidating displays and acts of brute force. In combat, it contributes to both damage and healing as well as the fortitude defense. Highly recommended for wizards. Plus 3% damage and healing. Constitution is health. Dexterity is an abstraction of the character's hand-eye coordination, balance, and overall grace. In interactions, it can be used for sleight of hand and fast reactions. In combat, it affects the character's action speed with all attack spells, abilities, and contributes to the reflex defense. Plus 0% action speed, so I guess that means you can do more stuff in a round. Perception represents a character's senses as well as their instinctive ability to pick up on details. In interactions, it can be used to catch someone in a lie, to make an observant comment about an appearance, or to notice something happening in the background. In combat, it contributes to accuracy, the reflex defense, and grants a bonus to interrupt. Intellect, here we go. Intellect represents a character's logic and reasoning capabilities. In interactions, it can be useful for deduction, sudden realizations, and problem solving. In combat, it contributes to the will defense and influences and durations an area of effect for all abilities and talents. Yeah, so the higher your intellect, the bigger your area of effect abilities are. Resolve reflects a character's internal drive, determination, fearlessness, and emotional intensity they can project on others. It can be useful for mental intimidation, leadership, and convincing performances. In combat, it helps characters maintain concentration and contributes to the will and deflection defenses. And we have 15 points, so thinking something like 15, 14, 12. I want to be fairly quick. Kind of like the idea of having some accuracy. We'll drop 1 in resolve, 12 in perception, 12 in constitution because we are the main character, and then 16 in might. So we hit hard. Yeah, I think that'll be fine. Yeah. I'm actually somewhat tempted to drop Constitution and Perception to get more intellect and might. No, we want to keep concentration, that's important. Maybe not quite as important as for a cleric or something. I think we'll do that. Alright, so this is our culture, so we can come from Ada. The Ada Empire is currently the largest and most powerful force in this part of the world. It is centered around the equator and tropical climate. Though the Empire has colonies in numerous areas of the world, Greater Ada is at its heart and houses the majority of the human and elven nations. Resolve +1, Dexterity, Resolve, Intellect. Ordvalia. Once the crown jewel of the southern seas, Ordvalia is now the crumpled remains of an empire of warring merchant nations. Counting many humans and dwarves amongst their ranks, the Old Valian countries are still forces to be reckoned with and are proud of their rich cultural heritage. Ruantai. The Living Lands. Living Lands is the mountainous region of a large northern island renowned for its diversity of plant and animal life. Its weather is unpredictable and its ecosystems vary dramatically from valley to valley. The Living Lands are home to an assortment of races and in a variety of colonial and independent settlements. I actually kind of like the sound of that. Yeah, we'll be from the Living Lands. We'll have a 17 in might. So our spells really hit hard. Awesome. Right, what's our background? Colonists, so +2 survival. We were part of a group that founded a fledgling colony in a distant land. We're an explorer, lore and survival. Labourer, athletics and mechanics. Mechanics is nice because that is the skill that is used for disabling traps. Merchant, drifter, hunter, mercenary, scientist. Athletics is tiring. Alright, adventuring is tiring work. So athletics is when there are like special events and things. You can take an athletics check, just like in Dungeons and Dragons, to see if you like jump over a gap or if you manage to climb a wall or something like that. Lore, is that like identification? Outside of conversations, scripted interactions, lore is used to activate scrolls. Higher lore values allow the character to use higher level scrolls. Okay, that's kind of useful for a wizard. Survival. Survival allows characters to choose from a variety of long-term bonuses each time they camp. The first 6 ranks grant the following bonuses: damage reduction, received healing multiplier, bonus movement, accuracy bonus versus creatures, increased consumable duration, bonus damage versus flanked enemies. After the 6th rank, the previously earned bonuses become more powerful in each of the order they were received. Survival can be used in conversations and scripted interactions that involve wilderness challenges or specialized information about nature. Okay, so there have been a number of patches since this game first came out. I played basically without any patches, and these have quite significantly changed since then. Like survival, I seem to remember, was a bit of a junk stat. Traps and locks can be a problem for even the toughest adventurers, so yeah, mechanics hasn't changed. Additionally, any character can use mechanic skill to place traps of their own. The higher the mechanic skill, the more accurate the trap. Alright. So I was kind of hoping to just have a straight out +2 lore, but that doesn't look like it's going to happen. I'm kind of tempted by like lore and survival. Are these modified by... Yes. Aristocrat. Oh, that's an Edith though, that's resolve, which I don't really need. No, we're going to stick with you. Lore and survival? Yeah, lore and survival, that's the one I wanted. I'm an explorer. You find the siren call of the horizon irresistible. You cannot help but wonder what lies beyond the next hill or wave, and you've built your life around finding out. Marvellous. Alright, so what do I look like? I need someone with a beard. Last time I played I was this guy. For a wizard, he's pretty cool. These are the various different races. I do like the portraits in these games, they are rather good. And all the women, alright, here are the men again, dwarves, elves. The Asamoth, whatever they're called, godlike. Alright, back to the humans. Kind of tempted by Mr. Hooded. This guy. Blue and red colours. Hair colour. Do I want to be blonde? He's not blonde. Screw it, I'm going to be blonde. I'm going to be the same guy that I usually am. Facial hair. Yes. Definitely. I mean, we are Mordred Vikings, so, you know, we've got to look something like a Viking at least. Plus we come from the cold northern areas, which is clearly the Viking area. Mohawk. Looks absolutely nothing like the portrait. We can at least be dark haired, so it looks like him. Oh, he's got... Not a fan of that. Ah, he's got to be blonde, come on. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's possible to import portraits, otherwise I would do so. Oops. We'll just go with a goatee. There we go. Long hair. It's a few years after he had that picture taken. Go for something a bit more, like so. Alright, next.
Hey there. Now I am the leader of the group.
Shh. I'm here. Follow me. Let's go!
Quickly and quietly. I've got this.
Death to our enemies! Quick and quiet.
Leading the way. Onward!
Silence surrounds me. Yes, I shall lead us.
Yeah.
Not a sound.
Follow me. Let's go! Steady does it.
Oh? I shall lead us.
Let's keep quiet.
Yes?
Leading the way.
It's gotta be noble. Mordred.